Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salam ala Rasulullah. We continue reading from Imam Al-Ghazali's Jawahir al-Quran, the Jewels of the Quran, and we have reached Surah Al-Hajj. Imam Al-Ghazali chose 16 verses from this surah, the surah of the pilgrimage. Rahimahullah chose to begin with verse number 5. O mankind, if you are in doubt concerning being raised up again, talking about the day of resurrection in the hereafter, after death, then let us make it clear to you that surely we created, let us make it clear to you that, in brackets, surely we created you from dust, then from a sperm drop, then from clotted blood, then from a lump of flesh, formed and unformed, that we may make it clear to you. We cause that which we will to stay in the wombs for an appointed time, then we bring you forth as babes. Then, in brackets, we cause you to grow, that you attain your full strength. Then some of you die at that age, and some of you are kept alive to the most extreme old age, when after having acquired much knowledge, they become empty of it. You observe the earth lose all its productive capacity. Then, when we send down water in it, it stirs, swells, and grows every kind of lovely vegetation. This shows that it is God who is self-subsisting and all-sustaining, that He brings the dead to life, that He has the fullest power over everything, that the hour of the doom will undoubtedly, that the hour, in brackets, the doom, will undoubtedly come, and that God will raise up those who are within the graves. يا أيها الناس إن كنتم في ريب من البعث فإنا خلقناكم من تراب ثم من نطفة ثم من علقة ثم من مضغة مخلقة وغير مخلقة لنبين لكم ونقر في الأرحام ما نشاء إلى أجل مسمى ثم نخرجكم طفلا ثم لتبلغوا أشدكم ومنكم من يتوفى ومنكم من يرد إلى أرذل العمر لكي لا يعلم من بعد علم شيئا وترى الأرض هامدة فإذا أنزلنا عليها الماء اهتزت وربت وأنبتت من كل زوج بهيج ذلك بأن الله هو الحق وأنه يحيي الموتى وأنه على كل شيء قدير وأن الساعة آتية لا ريب فيها وأن الله يبعث من في القبور. So it begins this verse number 5 by reminding people of the day of resurrection. And for those who are in doubt of the day of resurrection, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reminds them that He had created them from dust. This is really the most important, or every, of course, I mean, every stage is important, but I'm talking about the challenge, or the when Imam Ghazali reads, when we reach verse 73 of the same surah, Surah Al-Hajj, that the ultimately it's a challenge about the those whom they worship um, they will not be able to create flies, even if they gather, even if they unify their um, abilities, whatever they have of resources, they will not be able to create. And this is really why I said this is the most important part when it says min turab. So the challenge to humanity is to create, and the development, when we talk about the development of what became known as artificial life, like scientists aiming at synthesizing um, life, where they generate life from matter. This is really and I would say that the reading about this issue, uh, probably the most important development, probably uh, it is the assembly of what they described as minimal genes, about 400 of them, to for mycoplasma, mycodis, the the this bacteria. So they assembled these genes, and they say this is the this bacteria is the first citizen of synthetic biology. No, there is no creation here, because they still retained the parts of the bacteria to insert the genome there. It did not uh, uh, it did not behave like normal, in parentheses, and they have excluded approximately about 100 genes that they found non-essential, and when it did not really function as it should, there was another group of scientists, about 24 of them really, who added seven genes to correct. But in all cases, these are this like they have assembled the same genes, nothing new. They have retained parts of the cell, the to insert the genome, the synthetic genome, which is really almost like simply copying, re um, formulating imitating that which existed, and the bacteria had to be kept in a solution that would feed it, because it could not synthesize its nutrition. I mean, the idea is just to get matter and to create life from that matter, from zero, from scratch. And the literature surrounding this, um, some of them were more objective by saying almost synthetic, and that should be enough to indicate that no, it was not 100% synthetic. And now the usually we read one verse at a time and in order. But the challenge ultimately here, since verse number 5 mentions creation of the human being, and the challenge is not to create a human being, and cloning human beings is not creation. Well, I don't want to spend time about that now. But the challenge here is to create a fly. So with 400 genes, and uh, they still its imitation, retaining part of the cell, and also correcting. And this large number of scientists working for really a very long time, and still. And the the fruit fly has 14 thousand genes. Imagine they worked with 400. That's the minimal. It should have been. I mean, in its original state, natural state, uh, it's more than 400, of course. That's why they excluded 100. They thought that it's not essential. That's why they call it minimal. At any rate, so all this work with 400. Imagine if they wanted to work with 14,000, but really creating. And this is really the issue. يا أيها الناس ضرب مثل فاستمعوا له إن الذين تدعون من دون الله لن يخلقوا ذبابا ولو اجتمعوا له. And here basically, they can put effort. They could establish. And by the way, there are several major universities, including MIT, were involved at one point with this, uh, and they still they made the sequence the out of yeast cells. So it is already the bio part was already there. So it's not really synthetic, and definitely we cannot call it, and we should not call it creation. So this is really, it's much more complex. For people can read about the history of the attempt to create synthetic life, artificial life, if you will, you can. And the one should not be misled by the limited success of artificial intelligence. It's not intelligence; it's what you human beings really program, uh, and it's not the same, because ultimately you are going to work with. You need to make to create bio. So physics becoming biology. That's what it should be the case, and this is really the challenge. So going back to the reminder to people about the day of resurrection. Uh, if today, what's the state of how many people believe in the afterlife? It depends, of course, which society. Uh, and, Muslims have a clear um, understanding of the day of judgment, that uh, there is a real hellfire, that there is a real heaven, real paradise. Now I've looked at Pew, the Pew research, their surveys, 2021 survey about the American society in this case, and the majority do believe in life after death, except that when you break it down into male, female, females believe in the afterlife more than males. You will find that the youngsters believe in reincarnation. So it's like as if this cyclical life will. It's more of a Hindu idea. Strange enough, there is something. I don't know how it ended up uh, in Judaism, and even when they so it's about youngsters and about 40% of them. So the idea, and that's a society that is considered, or at least was considered, religious, more or less. And Europe and specific countries are considered now more um atheist. And strange enough, even within the Pew Research survey, those who are agnostic, they still believe in the hereafter. Uh, but the it's not as clear, and also the idea of I was surprised. I was right next to Patriarch, now Emeritus Michel Sabah. He's probably now in his 90s. When he addressed this issue of hell and heaven, and he said that there is, and this is a patriarch. I mean, this is in the Catholic, in the Latin Patriarchate in Jerusalem, in the Catholic Church, and he said that there is neither hell nor heaven. So the fact that we are here, um, and that we have this cycle of birth and ultimately death. Is this the end of it? Um the metaphor that we should really look at is basically seeing the land, arid land, or land that at the end of summer in specific places on earth, that would be really pretty dry. And once it rains, once it's rainy season, then it comes back to life. The same thing, that we will come from, even the same idea that almost as if we, the image, as if we are going to sprout from the earth, we are going to be resurrected. ينبتكم من الأرض نباتا. So this is really how we will come to life again in the afterlife. And the stages of within pregnancy, uh, from that stage, from the womb, from the birth. So talk about after dust, and that's really the origin. That's Adam alayhi salam. That's the beginning of creation. And the normal cycle now is that you talk about a sperm drop, then from clotted blood. And to say that it's من نطفة, and the sperm, since it's nutfa, it has to be sperm and um, ovum, so that the nutfa would include both a fertilized egg, then from clotted blood, then from a lump of flesh, formed and unformed. Uh, this really مخلق وغير مخلق, subhanallah. Maybe this also alludes to the type of cells that could take the shape of uh, any organ, but it's already, the information is there in the DNA, subhanallah, that we may make it clear to you. We cause that which we will to stay in the wombs for an appointed time. Then we bring you forth as babes. And then it's growth, strength. Some will die while they are still enjoying that strength, but they will still die. And some will live to that age when they will forget what they have known. And I think one of the things that people fear today is Alzheimer. They have just said that a specific vaccine could, probably it was not intended for Alzheimer, but they said that it will prevent Alzheimer. Even if you don't get Alzheimer, if you live that long, uh, to become a centurion and to go beyond that, your ability will become very, very diminished. Um, there are videos about some people who live to close to 115 or something like that, and definitely their abilities in all respects were very diminished. So verily, the hour is coming, and Allah Subhanahu wa Taala will resurrect the dead. I like a comment as I was reading about this issue. I like a comment by someone who said, "There must be something after this life. It cannot be that we just came to this life and we paid taxes and then that's it." I really find it uh, it is right, with a good sense of humor. It cannot be that life is about paying taxes and there is nothing. That's not really a meaningful life. The next verse, so obviously Imam Ghazali skips some verses, and then verse 18, have you not seen that to God's submit whatsoever is in the heavens, whatsoever is in the earth, the sun, the moon, the stars, the mountains, the trees, the beasts, and many of mankind. So every animate and inanimate object submits to the will of God, except that in their entirety, not even one of them would decline. And human beings, because they have the freedom to choose, it's a matter of free will. وَكَثِيرٌ مِّنَ النَّاسِ, it's very accurate. Many people submit to the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Many people prostrate. Many people humble themselves. Many people, this is the right relationship. And there are those who choose not to. And is it about because religion? I'm sure that at least in at least in there must be a certain percentage of those people who abandon religion or do not want religion in their life because it stands between them and their lowly desires. Just like the article in Al-Quds al-Arabi, a woman, an author, a novelist, who wrote a novel with explicit scenes, and the article says that there should be no that literary criticism should not really have, or there should be no ethical yardstick to measure art. You cannot criticize. So he said it's whether it's written in written form, a painting or sculpture. He did not want to have any ethical values. Well, this is really the stories that we do have. Even the most liberal society around the world would still have some uh, laws that would limit the freedom of the citizens. It's not that they have no laws at all, that they are free to do whatever they want. The submission to the prostration, of course, it would take different form uh, when we talk about nature. It's not the same as the human being. Some part of the narrative is that the shade itself is a form of prostration. But one should think about it. It's in the form of that. Uh, Remember that when in the Quran, when Allah Subhanahu wa Taala calls on the heavens and the earth, uh, when they should have submit themselves willingly or unwillingly, and they say that we come uh, in obedience. So it's in the same spirit that the heaven and the earth and that's the world of inanimate objects and the beast. They have their own way. وَإِن مِّن شَيْءٍ إِلَّا يُسَبِّحُ بِحَمْدِهِ, the same thing. So there is tasbih. We don't understand. وَلَكِنْ لَا تَفْقَهُونَ تَسْبِيحَهُم. You do not understand their praise of the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the same way, they do prostrate themselves in a way that we might not really understand very well. But they do submit themselves to the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And it could be one of the things is that they continue to function, they continue to play their role, if you will, until an appointed term, until the day of judgment. It could be also before. Remember these black holes in the universe. At least one at the center of the galaxy, maybe two, like in the at least one in the Milky Way, maybe two. That proves that God causes the night to enter into the day and cause the day to enter into the night. Like this, there is this smooth, gradual change of turning from night into day and day into night, and that God is all hearing, all seeing. That's because it is God who is self subsisting and all sustaining. This is the real meaning. Uh, when we talk about that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is al-haq. And I think ذلك بأن الله هو الحق. That is because it is God who is self-subsisting and all-sustaining. There is something in the translation. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala being al-haq, the truth, the self-subsisting, that is really as-samad, which is only mentioned once in the Quran in Surah Al-Ikhlas. While that which they, the idolaters, meaning call apart from him, is false. And because it is God, this really وَأَنَّ مَنْ يَدْعُونَ مِنْ دُونِهِ الْبَاطِلِ. So I don't know why the translator, the Muhammad al-Qasim, why he translated haq into self subsisting. The meaning is there, of course. He is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is self subsisting, but he is the truth. And what they call apart from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is false. Because it's God who is the high, the great. Have you not seen that God sends down water from the sky, and the earth thereby becomes green? God is indeed beneficent, all aware. To him belong whatever is in the heavens and whatever is in the earth. Surely it is God who is all sufficient, all laudable. Have you not seen that God has subjected to you whatever is in the earth, that the vessels sail in the sea by his command, and that he holds back heaven lest it should fall upon the earth except by his permission? You say, how is heaven is going to fall on earth? Just when a meteor is large enough and passes by the earth, people, the scientists keep track of these small heavenly bodies. There are planets that do not really rotate. They don't have an orbit around a specific star, sun, if you will, and they are quote unquote on the loose. Just think if one of these, even a fraction of that, if it hits Earth, if it does not end life on Earth, then definitely the damage will be. And that's one of the theories about the why the dinosaurs disappeared. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala a'la wa a'lam. Surely God is compassionate and ever merciful towards mankind. He it is who gave you life, then he will cause you to die, then he will give you life again. Surely man is most ungrateful. Do you not know that God knows whatever is in the heaven and the earth? Surely it is all. Of course, the meaning is that it is all preserved in a book, the preserved tablet, that is. And that is certainly easy for God. O people, carefully listen to this similitude. Surely those whom you call apart from God can never create even a fly, and we spoke about this, although they should all combine together for this purpose. If a fly should snatch away anything from them, they cannot recover it from the fly. How weak is he who calls on them, and how weak are those on whom he calls. They have not a true concept of God's attributes. Surely God is powerful, almighty, subhanahu wa ta'ala. God chooses his messengers from among angels and from among men. Surely God is all hearing, all seeing. He knows what lies ahead of them and what is left behind them. To God all affairs are returned. وإلى الله ترجع الأمور. Alhamdulillah, suffice it inshallah for this session. The next one will be Surah Al-Mu'mineen, the 29 verses بإذن الله عز وجل. Until then, سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.